for September 20th, 2019. I'm Dino. I'm here with John Z and Ben S. We have Forgotten Five Comics for all your selling needs. So if you want to buy some stuff from us, hit me up and ForgottenFiveComics.com, and we can give you some good deals on some good books. Also, everyone, make sure to check out the new Final Order Cutoff show at Simple Man's Comics on YouTube. Great show. Brian Wood does a great job on all his content. All right, guys, let's get started.
Let's go, gentlemen. We're starting, as always, on the honorable mentions. And in at the golden age or old school honorable mention, as Ben likes to put in, is Amazing Man Comics number 22. You said you saw a 1.5 detached cover, sell for $12K, and prior to that, a $19K for a 3.0 detached. So it's an old school Centaur, which Centaur on its own is a collector's kind of dream. Those are just some of the toughest books out there. Personally, not my favorite cover, but it is kind of a classic cover, and it's a bit of a He-Man kind of prototype look there.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is from what, 1941, 42?
Yeah, I didn't look up the date. I apologize. You did ask what would a 9.0 go for. I did a little digging and saw that the John Beck copy, which sold in March, was a 7.5, went for $54K. So just a small little number.
That's a lot of money for a comic about that is not necessarily like our favorite cover.
It's purely the Centaurs. Centaurs have their own little rabid fan base. Centaurs are the golden age like Valiant is to modern Speckers.
Do you think the fact that he has the swastika on his forehead plays into it as well?
Definitely plays in there as well. I mean, there's a whole nother fan base collecting, the World War II type stuff. So
the publication date was May 15th, 1941.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. All right, rolling up to the modern honorable mention was the Absolute Carnage number 3 Pepe Larraz variant, which selling for about 10 to 15 for a cover price variant, which is not too shabby.
No, and what's funny is a lot of these what are they called, the character design covers or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't usually. I mean, they're pretty much.
They don't go well.
Yeah, they don't go well. Most people don't want them. And this one's kind of an odd, like when you look at the full figure here. I mean, it looks the
Venomized Hulk is just.
Yeah, it's very strange. Honestly, for me, it looks very strange.
You kind of lose a lot of the Hulk in it.
Yeah. Pretty much other than the green.
Yeah.
But it looks like it looks like Hulk needs to work on leg day because he's got all upper body going on.
Yeah, and the Venom head just kind of takes over, which is just I don't know, on Hulk that's hard to swallow for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't either. So,
but doing well for if you got this at cover price, that's a pretty solid win for you. So
I would think so. To double your money on something like that, it's not bad.
I wonder if the original Venomized Hulk cover will see a little resurgence.
Oh, with the what, number 4?
Yeah.
From like 20, was it
2012?
2012, is that when they came out? 2012, 2013?
Yeah, I think they're 2012.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
We'll keep an eye on that one, I guess. Not enough copies usually sell of that bad boy to track too much, but it's a pricey book to begin with.
Right.
Heading into the list, number 10, Uncanny X-Men, number 1 from 2013, the Delato 1 in 50 variant you chose. Getting a little bit of heat because of, again, the House of X, Powers of X, or Powers of 10, House of X. And I don't even want to say the name, for love of God. Gold Balls. Jesus. We ran out of names in the X-Men Marvel Universe.
Yeah. So it looks like old Gold Balls is got the first appearance in this issue. I I've always liked this cover just because of the Magic cover,
Yeah.
and the red and the Delado. It's pretty sweet looking cover. But honestly, this thing is pretty much sold for, nothing.
Yeah, so now it's selling about 30, which honestly on a 1 in 50, if it catches a little more heat and actually goes somewhere, that's not a bad buy-in price if it were to actually yield anything beyond the initial unusual spec.
Yeah. I think people just before always just wanted this just because when everybody was trying to find Magic variants and stuff like that. But now with old gold balls,
it's probably not the most uncommon book at a 1 in 50 on an X-Men 1 in that time, but
it's not. I forgot to look up the print run, but I think I remember from a long time ago it was really high. There's probably a ton of the 1 in 50s out there, but still, good looking cover.
Low buy-in on a 1 in 50, so I can't argue with that, honestly.
Right.
All right, jumping to number 9 is a book that I think hits the list every couple times a year, I bet, or some of its brethren. Spawn 221 variant, the Amazing Fantasy 15 homage. You said it's $50 last month and now has jumped to the 80-90 range.
Yeah, and this one kind of goes up and down. It seems to go from, I think the last time it moved up to like 75, and then it kind of settled back into that $50 range. But for some reason, there were several sales this week in that $80 to $90 range.
Must be just tied to Spawn and 300 and the kind of just the high points of that book and the character, because I haven't heard anything on the movie or any of that stuff recently. It's been
I haven't either. So.
The book always moves, in my opinion. Like we've had a ton, and we've gone through a ton. I mean, it's just a cool Spawn AF-15. I mean that's what everybody buys. So
yeah, what's your overall opinion on homage covers like this? Either one of you.
I'm mixed. I mean, it's a popular character. It's a decent edition of it. The thing is, Amazing Fantasy's been swiped almost as much as anything else.
Same thing with 300.
Beyond maybe 300, yeah. So I don't know. At some point, you get tired of them, and you stay in the main titles. That's good. You get to some of those independent publishers, and the 500th edition of something, it gets a little dull.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like 300 for a Rick and Morty. Like, it's just like, they have nothing to do with one or the other. I feel like it's like a milestone thing. Like, if you got past 50 issues, you're like, oh, we can do a 300 homage or, they have 15 homage. That's my, take a rite of passage, I guess.
Like I said, the Spawn in the 200s, early 200s is just, all of that stuff is just tough and gaining popularity as more people get back into that character.
Yeah.
A lot, you got to think there were 1 million copies sold, the original editions. And a lot of those people actually read it at the time and, probably stayed with them, and they're getting back in. And when the print runs were probably in the very small numbers in that range, and just a lot of fans want that same book.
Yeah. Hey, and before we go on, just want to thank everybody that's watching live on YouTube. We're also now streaming live on Facebook. So if there's anybody out there watching on Facebook, thank you for watching. We'll be streaming on there every Friday from moving forward.
And Monday for the podcast, I believe.
Our podcast is going to stream on Facebook as well.
Yep, we're going to try that out too.
Okay, yeah. So I know some people like like the videos. Some people don't. Definitely don't have to watch them. You can read all this information on comicbookinvest.com. But yeah, we appreciate you watching, and any comments you would have, let us know. We definitely want to hear some feedback.
Yep, comments. Remember, guys, comments. The best comment usually gets a book. So
best comment on the web article.
Yep, on the web article. Yep, on the website, comicbookinvest.com. So make sure you guys comment on the article on the website.
Ask some questions. Ben loves to be questioned on his choices. It's his favorite part.
That's the reason he lives for it.
And coming into it, number 8 is honestly a head scratcher to me, and just purely on sales. Captain Marvel from the 2001 run, the original Captain Marvel. Well, the second original Captain Marvel, the Marvel original Captain Marvel, if you will. Some spec tied to Big Mother and other websites tying that to maybe some retcon spec of maybe a Kate storyline and a solicitation. It's a long, long story to get to that it's selling for $20.
Yeah, and it was moving for $1. I mean, it was basically $1 book because who's buying any of these Captain Marvel from the early 2000s? Nobody. But yeah, so it's now selling for $20. I put it in the article that if you have to work that hard, sometimes, I mean, yes, I get that it's probably somehow ties back to Donny Cates somehow. But if you have to work that hard to try and come up with a reason for buying a first appearance of a character that, yeah, okay, they may appear in an issue somewhere. Okay, great. That there's a lot of characters that appear in a lot of issues. That doesn't mean that you go out and spend $20, $30 on their first appearance that nobody has ever cared about before. I mean, none of us even know who Big Mother is. I mean, Dino seemed to be really interested in this, Beowulf.
Beowulf, man.
but
it's classic English literature, man. If I went to college and learned anything, okay, it's a Beowulf. Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, I put it on there because I mean, any dollar book that jumps up to 20.
Hey, if I found one out there, I wouldn't put it away.
No, absolutely. I mean, it would be. Some of these I wonder long term what the how it's going to affect the market.
Who's going to want it on their wall?
Yeah, I mean, you put. I mean, if I walked into an LCS 2 days ago and saw this on the wall, I would have been like, I have no idea what that is. But
a lot of people, YouTube comments, I've cruised right past this Captain Marvel book in so many dollar bins, and I'm not upset I didn't buy first app of who. It's
yeah.
So
yeah.
good.
All right, so we'll leave this guy alone and move on to number 7. And you just called it the house powers of X10, just the connecting variants, and they all seem to be still selling very, very well. The whole series is doing well, so hurrah for the X-Men actually being relevant after a long, long time.
Yeah, and it's not even really tied to the connecting variants. It's all the A covers are selling. The first one, number one selling close to $20. There's all kinds of people talking about this series. It reminds me of Immortal Hulk, a year ago when everybody started talking about it and all the issues started going up in price. These don't have quite the awesome covers like the Immortal Hulks did with the Alex Ross covers, but I would say that X-Men is definitely more popular than Hulk is overall.
There's a lot of upside if it goes.
Yeah. So
the Hulk never sold 1 million copies of a book.
No. And I have very little time during the week. I don't get to read that often, but the way everybody's talking about this is pretty much going to force me to go out, and I'm not going to spend $20 an issue on them because I don't have any of these issues. But I'm probably going to have to find issues somewhere, even if I have to buy like what's funny is the 1 in 10s sell for cover price. It's the cover A's and the connectings that are all selling for higher dollars. So
yeah, trade. Well, we're on issue 4 or 5, so trades will come out soon. So
yeah, that's true because it's only a six issue mini.
I think they were 6s. Yeah,
I think they're just ending at 6, I think, or 5.
Yeah, because then they're going to roll into the regular X universe or X title. So number 6 also a repeat, which we don't get a lot of repeats every week. You try and find different things get hot, cold. The audience is very fickle, but Tank Girl number 1 still selling very well. Continuing to rise. Raws are now about 150, up from 100 when we talked about it last week. 9.4 sold for 325, which is close to double what it was selling before then. I can vouch I did sell one at 150 this past 5-6 days, so it's going.
You sold a raw copy?
Yeah, it was probably one of those sales.
Oh, awesome! I don't really look to see who makes the sale.
No, I just know I did. I mean, it's a classic cover to me. It's one from the 80s that or 90s that just we all saw it. It was burned in my head, kind of like Primer 2 and the Crow books. Those were kind of those ones I just never actually saw in real life. It was like, man, I should buy those. So, Ed Margaro did it, and it's just, potential very, very interesting book.
Yeah, and it's this happens a lot. I've noticed this a lot when a kind of a classic series or something like that picks up heat because of whatever news is out there, and the books probably have been undervalued for a while. It takes that initial jump, and then people all of a sudden recognize it. It usually takes that secondary jump, and I think that's what kind of happened with this. Is it took that initial jump from $30, $40 up to $100, and now it's taken that secondary jump up to $150. I don't know what the ceiling on this is. I don't know if it's going to get to 2. Probably not right now. I would.
If the movie rolls forward, we'll see it jump a little more, but right now it's probably plateaued.
And you know what's funny? Our brother and Matt said that he would have put money down on Tank Girl never getting made again.
No, I agree. I would never have thought it was. I just is. Just remember there is an insert in that book, and check for that when you're buying it. It's trading cards. It's not stickers. It's like trading card looking kind of things. Looks a lot like the Valiant coupons, but it's trading cards. So just check those. If you buy a high grade copy, double check that one and make sure you're getting it. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself a qualified green label.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right, number 5, Spider-Man 2, the Totino Tedesco 1 in 50 variant. I don't know. There's any spec on this. Maybe it's just that it's a pretty cover that's finally getting its due. It is the Evil Miles. I apologize, but the cover itself is very, very nice. Yeah,
and I think it was it Topher that I think that kind of determined that this was this Evil Miles' first appearance. I think it was maybe Topher. I could be wrong.
I remember it getting talked about briefly when it came out, and nothing really went of it. And now I think maybe as Miles' star has grown, his potential for getting villains has risen with it.
Yeah, regular cover getting $20. So if you do, you could probably find that Spider-Man 2 #1. You could probably find that in back issue bins. I would tend to think you're not going to find this variant because I doubt that there was many places that ordered 50 copies. So you're not going to really probably find this one. The coloring, I do love the coloring on this.
I think this is one that kind of, both the Spider-Man series, the original and the 2, had some nice variants in it. Mm-hmm. And I think people picked those up and just kind of put them away because they were really nice covers.
Number 3 was a 1 in 100 Sarah Pacelli Miles Morales variant too in the Spider-Man series. Just for I don't say regret, but we sold a 9.8 back in like April of 2018 for like $138.
Of this one?
Yeah, of this one. Yeah. And then I sold one, give me 1 second. I sold one on end of January. It was a near mint minus for $31. So, if you were stocking them up, you might be doing pretty decently. You can get them for that cheap back in the day. So.
All right, moving on. Number 4 on the list, Batman: The Long Halloween #1. Long time been a pretty popular Batman series or mini, and now big rumors that the next Batman movie is going to focus around this storyline and this at least steal some elements from this one. So went from being about 20 to 30, which surprises me. I honestly thought it was less than that, to now $50 range selling. So that's impressive.
Yeah. I love this story. I remember it from, 25 years ago. I loved it back then. I've still got the trade. I've got the trade up on my shelf up here. I would like to reread it. I think I long got rid of my actual copies of this a long time ago, but I'm really excited to see if going to preface this with I don't actually think that they could make this into a movie, because that's way too many villains, way too many people they'd have to pay, and not enough screen time for each individual villain. They'd have to make it like 4 hours long to be able to give each character enough of the screen time to be able to do that. So I'm not sure how they would do this on screen, and I'm afraid if they tried to do it differently, that it would take away from the story, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And it's an immense story, but they can take bits and pieces and maybe do, some of it. Hopefully it doesn't end up, like Batman versus Superman, just too much stuff crammed into one story.
Yeah, I would have never suspected that this would get back up to get up to a $50 book.
No, I'm thinking your 25 to 30 is more recent sales, because at some point it was down, I'm sure, in the $5 to $10 sale.
Oh, right? Yeah, I mean, there was a ton of them out there, and I mean, but honestly, I've always thought that the print run back then with this was probably pretty high, but I've always wondered why even like the Marvels, the Alex Ross, the 4-issue Marvels series. I mean, yes, so there's a bunch of them out there, but those things sell for $5 a piece, and that's like a masterpiece, and I don't understand when I see books like Captain Marvel 21 selling for $20.
$50 for this feels like a freaking value then.
Yeah, it feels like a steal. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But
I did a little census work on it. You'd be surprised. Only 103 9/8, 70 Universal and 33 Signature Series, and then only 53 9/6s. So
a long Halloween.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nobody's thought there's a reason to create that book. Let's be honest.
Yeah. But I thought it would be more, since it's a '90s book. You'd figure maybe somebody took a stab at it. But before we move on to number 3, I am going to cut in a little bit. comicbookinvest.com, they are actually going to give away a premium Simple Man's Comic Bolo mystery box. So the contest rules are as follows. You got to be 18, U.S. mailing address only, and you got to subscribe to Simple Man Comics on his YouTube channel, and then you got to answer the following questions in the comment section of the actual article of the giveaway on the website comicbookinvest.com. Is if/when Donny Cates steps away from writing Venom, who would you like to see take over as the author of the title? So one winner will be randomly chosen. So one winner, and it's going to be the entries must be received by the 27th of September. So comicbookinvest.com, another giveaway for a premium Simple Man Comics Bolo mystery box. So go on the website and check that out. So we can continue on to number 3.
All right, a little more Venomized Hulk spec. This is What If from the 1989 run, number 4. The first appearance of Venom and Hulk kind of merging, I guess.
Yeah, and it's funny. Donny Cates tweeted this week, and he showed a picture of it and said that this that a first appearance can't happen in a What If book. So, because I think he's banking on something else. So I guess he's probably banking on his Absolute Carnage as being the first appearance. But
so we should throw away all those What If Thors.
Right. Well, and I mean, that book still doesn't make any sense to me either. It's I don't necessarily like these What If books, especially just.
Well, they're a great read, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going to invest in them. Yeah,
and I think this one probably just got a little bit of heat just because Donny Cates was even talking about it. For it to be basically a $4 to $5 book and pop up to 15 to 25 with a ton of sales. I mean, there were so many sales of this, and I think people are probably looking at as like that Jane Foster Like, oh, if this is a thing, then this book's going to jump up to $100 or something stupid. Again, I don't see how it could. It's from 1989. There's probably 300,000 of them printed.
And there's also not a movie theory behind it. It's just
Right.
a character showed up in a story.
Right. So, but again, this happens pretty much on every list almost weekly. Anything to do with Venom, anything to do with symbiotes.
Donny Cates.
It's just that the people, I don't know what the cutoff is that people will stop being interested in them, in Venom and symbiotes and stuff, because it's
Well,
just.
I mean, look at 300, right? 300's, the most, sub book on the planet, pretty much. I mean,
and it's not even a true first appearance, but
yeah,
that's
not getting that debate.
Yeah, we're not going to get into those weeds, but it's, So I mean, that's why I made the list. Tons of sales. What's up? What's up, Brian? Simple Man's Comics checking in. Just whatever people want to do. Like I said, I'm just reporting on it. You make your own decision.
Cool.
All right. Number 2, some Star Wars making the list. Star Wars Age of Resistance, Rey #1, the 1 in 50 Quesada variant.
Yeah.
As you had kind of mentioned before, this formula kind of had made some hits in the past. It's a pretty cover. It's selling for 100 plus. I don't know. Star Wars fans are interesting.
I'm going to jump in on this one because I actually sent this to Scotty Wednesday when it hit my comic shop, and I don't know if he bought it or not, but I was going to snag it because I did so well in those Life of Captain Marvels. But I thought it was cool, but I didn't think it was that cool for a Quesada. Like it wasn't. It didn't look like it was going to be a hard 9.8 because that Life of Captain Marvel was an all black cover. So I kind of didn't pull the trigger, and I kind of wish I would have.
Yeah, and I actually just pulled it up on eBay, and 2 copies have sold here within the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
For $125 a piece. So it's actually still going up.
If you got a good buy-in at the 1 in 50, it's good money. You're doubling or a little over ratio, so that's a good book, especially on a Star Wars, which I won't say never, but traditionally don't hold their value as well.
Correct. And Quesada is underrated, I think, sometimes, and is like, the formula works, but you would figure more people would be jumping on it. Like, I saw it, like a couple hours after it was released and it was still for sale. Like, nobody, like, how you go on My Comic Shop and, like, Venom
they're
comics are like gone. Yeah, they're hot and they're gone, and it's not. So,
yeah, who was a Quesada fan back in the early 90s with like Ninjak and Ash and those type of things. I mean, I loved that stuff back then, but I mean, this is pretty much all he does anymore, but good for you if you can find this one. I have a feeling that this is going to go in people's collections, Star Wars collections, and it's just going to kind of disappear.
Yeah, we still got a little movie, coming up, and maybe pick a little more heat up on this guy.
Yep. Dino, I don't know can you see who is actually in or some of the people that are in the chat? I just want to give some shout outs.
Yeah.
Before we hit number 1 here.
I'm sorry, I can do that real quick.
No, you're good.
Let's see what we got here. So we have a bunch of people in the channel. Let's check them out right now. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see what we got. Okay. So if it loads, here we go. So let's throw some people out there. We got Comic Man Andy, our boy Adam Lebenick, obviously, Phil Chung, Rag718. I hope I don't mess this guy's name up. Michael, is it Riscoll? RRISCOLL. J Monty Comics, Darksiders, our boy Matt DeVoe, Sean Manor, obviously Simple Man's Comics, who we've been doing a lot of promo. So Brian's in the channel. So what up, Brian?
Our long lost member.
That's right. 9 Square
2 long lost members with Maddie.
I know, right? 9 Square Inches. So that's who's in the channel right now. So yeah, if you guys make sure you guys like and subscribe, do all that good stuff for us. Hopefully we can pump our numbers up. Hopefully one day we'll be as much as Joe Rogan. That's my goal for these things. And then on Facebook too, we're getting a little bit of good streaming action on Facebook. We got about maybe 10. I think it's probably because it's so late in Facebook usually. I think if we do a little earlier, it might get better, but that's okay. 20 people in the chat on YouTube and like 10 or 11 people on Facebook. So not terrible. I mean,
awesome. Yeah, no, one last thing before we hit number one. I am going to give away from the comments this week. I've got a really, really nice copy of Incredible Hulk 441. We were talking about homages, so this is a perfect homage of Pulp Fiction. And this one's a really high grade copy. I would say it's near mint plus. It's got a 9/8 shot, and I'm going to give it to a Custom Figures. He comments quite a bit on our website, and his comment where he said he was going to go on eBay and undercut everyone's gold balls. It made me laugh. So Custom, I'm gonna shoot us your address at what is it?
Yeah, CBSI Flipside, all one word, at gmail.com. Make sure you guys put the date of the actual time you want it. So like today's 9/20, just so we can remember this stuff in the book and everything. So make sure you put the book in there and stuff. We're getting a lot of emails and stuff, so we're just trying to filter it out so we know we give the right book to the right people.
Yep.
Somebody asked, when is Brian coming back? Never. He's never allowed back on the show. So no, whenever he wants to, he can come on back whenever he wants to. So.
All right. Got distracted with all that. Number one book on the list, which apparently I wasn't paying attention to anything this week, is Spider-Girl 59. Arguable first appearance of Benjamin Parker, something to be tying in with the new series out with him being involved. So I don't know. It seems like a lot of jumping on for a baby character, but people feel like real first. So I guess this is it.
Yeah.
Though my man Topher seems to have some debate on it.
He does, and a lot of times I will default to Topher. A lot of times I think Topher's off his rocker. This one, I pulled this one up just so I could see what was actually going on. It's on the last page. She births Ben Parker, and that's pretty much it. You can probably still find this book in the dollar bins.
It's selling very well. I mean, you said 40 to 80 this morning when you did the article, and I was still checking. It's consistently selling in probably 40 to 60 right now.
Yeah, I mean that's
big jumps, man. That's big jumps.
That's a big jump, and that's with people finding them for $1 cover price, and just throwing them out there like I'm going to take whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody would be mad right now, even if you got it for $2.99, $3 to $1, and making $40. Even if with eBay and shipping, I mean, you're still clearing 30. I bet. I mean, it's like that's $1, $3 purchase into 30. You're 10 times your money on that. So I mean,
right. So I don't know. I mean, there's some baby appearances out there. I think we kind of discussed this. I discussed this with somebody else, and the baby Cable thing doesn't. Yep. It's nothing. The baby was it John Kent out of Convergence. I mean, it's like an $8. It's like an $8 book or something like that. It's not really worth anything. Even Hope Summers in X-Men 205. It's
It's got a little bit, not much.
It's considered her first, but it's still only a $15 book, and it probably should be much higher. So if you're only going to spend $15 on a Hope Summers first appearance as a baby, I'm not sure about this, $50, $60 for
the ever expanding Spider-Verse.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and how many kids is Spider-Man going to end up having?
A bunch. Yeah, welfare.
Man.
She looks very good for having a baby this issue in this cover.
I know.
So
cool.
At least it's got that going for it. It's a nice cover.
All right. Great show, guys. Thanks everyone. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't. Obviously, we are Tales from the Flipside. So every Monday at 9:30, we are 9:30 Eastern. We are doing the podcast. So check us out. CBSI Swag, comicbookinvest.com, Comics of the Norm, Forgotten 5 Comics, the podcast, Paul's Problems, the Wall Comics is Ben S's handle on Instagram. So make sure you guys follow us all, and hope you guys have a good night. So boys, as usual, thank you guys for doing what you guys do.
All right, see you all on Monday.
Later.